Imagine being sold into a life of servitude by your own mother. But what if everything you thought you knew about your life was a lie? Meet Ayesha, a poor girl who was sold to a rich family as a maid. For years, she lived in their mansion, doing their dirty work, but a shocking DNA test reveals a family secret so big, it'll leave you speechless. What happens next will blow your mind. Stay tuned for the unbelievable twist that no one saw coming. You won't believe the truth behind her story. Keep watching till the end to uncover the shocking secret. The air was thick with tension as 12-year-old Aisha walked through the massive, ornate gates of the lavish mansion, her heart pounding in her chest. She was both in awe and fearful, not fully understanding what awaited her. The towering walls and sparkling windows made her feel as though she had stepped into another world, a world so different from the modest life she had known in her small, struggling village. She could hear the sound of distant laughter and the hum of a busy household, but it only heightened her anxiety. She had never imagined a life like this. Her mother had told her about the family's wealth and how they lived in luxury, but Aisha never expected to be part of it. Aisha's life, up until this moment, had been defined by hardship. Born into a family living hand-to-mouth, she had watched her mother struggle with illness and poverty after her father passed away years ago. Every day was a battle for survival. Despite her mother's best efforts, their life seemed to slip further into despair. With no other options left, her mother was faced with a heart-wrenching decision. The wealthy family from the city offered Aisha a chance to live with them and work as a maid. In return, they promised to pay her mother a sum of money. Though it was a small amount, for a woman with nothing, it seemed like the only way to provide Aisha with a better life. After much hesitation and pain, her mother made the decision to send her away. Little did they both know, this would mark the beginning of a life that was about to change in ways neither of them could ever have predicted. Aisha's new life was nothing short of a paradox. The mansion, with its grand marble floors and expensive furniture, was like something out of a fairy tale. The towering chandeliers sparkled above her, casting warm light over rooms that seemed endless, with high ceilings and plush carpets. She had never imagined a life so luxurious, and the sight left her feeling a mixture of awe and discomfort. But beneath the glittering surface of wealth, Aisha quickly learned that this new world came at a price. Her days were filled with chores that never seemed to end. From scrubbing the floors to washing the dishes and taking care of the young children, Aisha worked tirelessly from dawn until nightfall. There was no time for rest or play, no moments to simply enjoy the comfort of her new surroundings. She was treated as nothing more than a maid, someone who was meant to serve the family, but never to partake in the privileges of the life they led. The family never made her feel like one of their own. The hardest part was the constant reminder of what she had lost, the warmth of her mother's embrace, the simplicity of her old life. Aisha missed her mother terribly, and the loneliness was overwhelming at times. Yet, despite the isolation, Aisha held on to a glimmer of hope. She convinced herself that this was her ticket out of poverty, that one day things would get better. But as days passed, Aisha began to feel something was amiss. The family's behavior was strange, and they never spoke about their past. There was always a mystery surrounding them, a wall of silence when it came to their origins, which made Aisha feel as though there was something they weren't telling her. A gut feeling told her that there was more to this story than she knew. One rainy evening, everything changed. The soft patter of raindrops against the windows created an eerie backdrop to what was about to unfold. Aisha was summoned to the family's living room, her heart racing with anticipation. As she stepped into the room, she saw Mr. Malik, the family's father, sitting on the expensive leather sofa. His expression was serious, far from the usual warmth he exuded. He held a document in his hand, and his demeanor was far more somber than Aisha had ever seen. "Aisha," he began, his voice trembling slightly, "we need to talk." The weight of his words settled on her chest, making her pulse quicken. Confused and anxious, Aisha looked up at him. What could this possibly be about? She had never seen him look so serious before. Mr. Malik motioned for her to sit. "We've been keeping something from you," he continued. "I know you felt out of place here, and I want to tell you the truth." He handed her the document, and as Aisha took it, her hands began to shake. The paper felt heavy in her grasp. She glanced at the words on the page, but it wasn't until she saw the DNA test results that her world came crashing down. The test revealed a shocking truth. Ayesha was not just a maid. She was the biological daughter of Mr. Malik's wife, Sophia. Tears welled up in Ayesha's eyes as the gravity of the revelation hit her. Sophia, the woman who had always kept her at arm's length, was her mother. The very woman who had sold her to this family, the woman who had been cold and distant, was the one who had given her life. Ayesha's mind reeled with the betrayal and confusion of it all. The family had kept this secret for years, hiding the truth from her. But now, in one devastating moment, everything changed. Ayesha was not just a maid in the house, she was family. The revelation felt like a sharp slap to the face, a cruel twist of fate. The very people she had grown to fear, the people who had never treated her as one of their own, were now her blood. Ayesha's heart broke as she grappled with the overwhelming truth. Her life, her past, and everything she had known had been a lie. The truth left Ayesha in a whirlwind of emotions, each more overwhelming than the last. The realization hit her like a tidal wave. Everything she had ever wondered about Sophia's coldness and distance suddenly made sense. For years, Ayesha had been treated like nothing more than a servant, forced to clean, cook, and care for the children, despite living under the same roof as Sophia. But now, she understood that the woman who had treated her like an outsider was not just a stepmother, she was her biological mother. Why had Sophia been so distant? Why had she chosen to sell her own daughter into servitude for money? These were the questions that haunted Ayesha's mind. The pain of betrayal cut deeper than anything she had ever felt before. How could her own mother have made such an unthinkable decision? Ayesha had always believed that her mother loved her, that she would never let anything happen to her. Yet, Sophia had torn that belief apart, turning her own flesh and blood into a commodity. To Ayesha, it felt like an unforgivable act, and the hurt was almost too much to bear. Seeing the pain and confusion in Ayesha's eyes, Mr. Malik spoke up, his voice soft but filled with regret. Sophia was young and desperate when she made the decision. He explained, "She never wanted to let you go, but circumstances were beyond her control. We tried to help, but she thought this was the only way. We kept the truth hidden, hoping to protect you both from the pain." His words, though gentle, did little to soothe Ayesha's broken heart. The truth was, no matter the reason, the betrayal still stung, and the wound left in its wake would take much longer to heal. Ayesha was left with a difficult decision to make. The truth about her true identity had shattered everything she thought she knew about her life. For years, she had lived under the illusion that she was nothing more than a servant in a rich family, isolated and removed from any real connection. But now, with the revelation of her biological link to Sophia, everything had changed. The weight of her past felt unbearable, and she wasn't sure how to navigate the future with this newfound knowledge. As time passed, Ayesha realized that the past, no matter how painful, couldn't be undone. What mattered now was what she chose to do with the truth. She could let it destroy her, or she could face it head-on. The idea of confronting Sophia, the woman who had abandoned her, sold her, and treated her like outsider for so many years, filled Ayesha with a mix of anger, sadness, and confusion. But she also knew that, despite everything, she still longed for closure, for some understanding of why her mother had made such a choice. When Ayesha finally confronted Sophia, she found a woman overcome with regret and sorrow. Sophia apologized, admitting that she had made a terrible mistake, one that she would live with for the rest of her life. The conversation was painful, filled with tears and difficult truths, but it marked the beginning of Ayesha's healing. She was no longer just a maid. She was a daughter, with a new family and a future ahead of her. Though the road to healing would be long, Ayesha was finally free, not just from the servitude she had endured, but from the pain of the past. The journey ahead would be hers to shape, and she was ready to move forward. Before you go, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and join the Black Visionaries community. If you were shocked by Ayesha's story, imagine what else we have in store for you. Our channel brings you real-life stories, jaw-dropping twists, and life-changing secrets that will keep you hooked every time. Hit that like button if you were blown away by this twist, and drop your thoughts in the comments. We love hearing from you. Share this story with your friends and family, and let's spread the truth together. Trust me, you don't want to miss what's coming next. Stay tuned for more incredible stories only here at Black Visionaries. Subscribe now and be part of something special.